Okay. I'm in.
It's good, huh?
Yes. I'm gonna start singing Tennessee whiskey in a second.
It'll get you. Snuck up on me
here.
real quick. At half a glass, I was like,
Shit here.
ooh, I feel something.
Oh, shit.
It's like it's to cure.
Hopefully,
See, I'm drinking it straight.
hopefully it ain't the Holy Spirit you feeling.
Yes.
Shit here. Shit here.
We're gonna put it in Jesus' hand.
I'm ready to drive, so I got mine cut just for taste.
Yeah.
All right. I'm good to rock.
Stop tagging me and stuff.
It ain't me, Corey. You know that.
That's it, is.
Stop tagging me and stuff, and I'm right here.
I said something. I'm like, why am I tagging?
You know, they wouldn't accept one of the things in one of the groups I was in. I was like, dang.
I wouldn't accept you neither.
You know what?
Oh man, we live.
Excuse us, folks. We are starting the podcast up for tonight. So, Brian was late. So, Isha, if you are watching, your husband was late. Just let you know. Boom. Hey, Auntie, what's going on? Karen says hello.
Karen says
She
hey.
actually said, what's
Hey,
up?
tell Auntie I said hey as well.
She said, what's up? We have to meet Karen one day.
Okay.
She'll give you a conversation.
You do have to meet
Then
Karen.
trying to say your sex to
You
us.
do have to meet Karen.
I don't think I need those. I mean, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Alright, I'm gonna take all questions and stuff here. You want your phone, Cotton?
Nope.
What?
I don't want to see myself. I don't want to hear myself.
You know what?
I don't want
There's,
to see the comments.
there's always a thing is to hear
I mean,
yourself.
why is this light skin look like he Mexican, look like he Arab man talking about Black Wall Street? It's like I'm black from
I mean,
Mississippi.
there's white Mexicans, so
What does Paco know? No, not trying to hear that.
a little bit. He here.
Now, he playing with Pablo Escobar. We on another level now.
Well, thank you being a particular color light skin. I fade in for all the different races.
There you go.
Yeah, it depends on the hair.
There you go. Sometimes you have to go like that. Sometimes it's like how you have to rock.
It's fun till racism.
Oh yeah. I mean, racism is fun.
Is it?
Yeah. It's on what is that? On everybody. I don't want to be alone. I love below. I hate being called a nigga, but hey.
I mean,
Last time I heard somebody got called a nigga, he sued.
You can?
Yeah.
Lord, should have done that a long time ago.
There was a guy, he sued a white lady because she called him a nigga. And
Why am I thinking that? Why ain't any of us thinking that?
I think he did. He did.
I
I think he got like $2,500 out of it.
2,500?
Not only that, she called him, then she sicked the dog on.
And
it wasn't the N-word, it was a dog.
No, it was both. It was both.
This
I think he probably got an extra $500 for the dog. He stuck a shovel in the ground, the dog was running at him. Boom, that dog hit that shovel. You hurt my dog. He said, I could have heard a word.
wow.
I've been punching dogs for free all this time.
All right. All right, let me get my bearings. Brian, they said you're a beast.
I do.
Somebody said you're a beast.
I told him I appreciate that.
They must not know who you are. I'm all over on your
I'm loving hearing it.
on your live.
Lord, look like I ain't got no neck.
I'm
This is right.
At least.
That's why I like to stay behind the camera.
Yeah, we having a little fun before we start the podcast. So, y'all got any questions? Y'all please direct it towards us. Brian is gonna try and read. He's probably gonna be late about reading them too.
Yeah, I'll be reading all questions, comments, future topics, all those great things.
What's the reading
And we'll
from
try
the
to
book
get
of
as
songs?
many people as we can.
Book of songs?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Some of this, some of that.
That's it.
I don't know why you let Brian read. You know Brian can't read.
Yeah.
He needs some pictures.
So,
Alright.
can't read.
Color pictures.
Color pictures.
I've been trying to figure out this reading thing for 29 years. Figured it out yet.
Is it in crayon?
I think it's in Braille.
Braille.
Real? See?
That's all. That's your excuse.
The whole point
That's your
right there.
excuse to touch titties. That's what you trying to say. You know, that's the fellas for bumps on titties.
Good evening, everybody. Never mind.
And that's something just got me fired. I will never have tenure. Thank you. Thank you. That's the Mike Podcast for ruining my career.
Hey, we might start another one. That's bad.
We'll have to. I'm going to be a professional podcaster.
I mean, there you
This man
go.
done ruined my future.
Well,
The topic tonight
we have yet to get
is
paid
black
very much. I
water.
think it's 54 cents in the account now. So, we're going to get
Be broke all my life.
We figured it out.
all my life I had to fight. We like to have fun here.
Let me know when y'all ready.
Karen said she gonna come back. All right, we getting ready to roll. Let's get it, Corey. He said we ain't gonna hear the music. I drink to that.
Right there with you.
Oh man, am I the only person without the cup?
Yes.
Y'all should tell
Because you
me.
always messing up, Brian.
I would have brought a mug.
You mess up a
I
peanut
had
butter
a
and
mug
jelly
in it.
sandwich.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice
man.
mug. I just want to.
I feel out of place now. But nevertheless, they don't care about
Next
me.
time she don't be there. We were here on time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're almost on time.
I
Almost
don't even
time.
work yet.
And horseshoes and hand grenades ain't on time.
Oh my God. Of course, we are steady arguing again because Brian was like, so, in saying that to saying this, welcome to Pastor Mike, where, of course, I got something to say. So we are trying to be, oh, we got the applause tonight.
Oh,
You got
yeah, we got applause.
Okay, all right.
We appreciate
That's special.
Yeah, okay. Don't, as long as you don't ask for the gunshots, you're okay.
I'm not asking for the gunshots.
Gunshots,
No.
no, 'cause they suck.
Yeah, I mean, you're not. That's not a positive thing usually.
I mean,
Oh, you meant on the. Okay.
all right. I'm just saying. So, okay. So on a serious note, right now, we are talking about how to recreate Black Wall Street. So tonight, as we have since last week, Mr. Brian Edwards Jr. Please don't forget the Junior. What's going on, JR?
The usual. Slow motion.
Oh, bless you. Well, I don't know where that one come from. That was real ominous. And to my right, we are sitting with Joshua Cotton, an instructor of history and philosophy at Jackson State University from Past Christianity. And I did say that right.
Yes, you did.
I know
Thank
that.
you.
I
I heard past Christian one more time.
Because people could not say how they had a little series on Facebook about how to say certain words.
I've heard that one. Yeah.
I love to hear sugar lock. Yeah.
Funniest thing, my people are from Sugar Lock.
Oh wow. That's wow. That's all I can say. Because I've never met a person from Sugar Lock.
No, there's only like 5 that are still
Okay,
there.
well shoot.
It's about the size of this room.
Okay.
Like the mail, the post office is also like the school and the gas station. Last time I went through there, it's real small.
It's like a real dope house. Like
Yeah,
you
like-
do hair.
Essentially, it is. It's that
Maybe
except
sit
the
there.
city. Yeah.
All right, so it's if y'all don't know about what we're talking about Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street was basically a district in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in the Greenwood subdivision. So there were at least how would I say? I'm trying to get this right. There were 104 black-owned businesses. They had two movie theaters and 2 schools. I believe that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm on point for right now. So stop me if I'm wrong, because I know I can't be very
I'm not
accurate.
gonna-
All right,
you
no,
do
stop
that.
me, because I will run off. So there was a massacre of Tulsa where they really came in and they was over 2,000
Mm-hmm. Angry white people.
I didn't want to say angry whites. That's
Oh,
what
yes,
I want
it
to
was
say.
angry white
I
people.
didn't want to say angry whites. I don't want to offend the whites. Cause
That's what offended me is the whites.
the whites.
Go that way.
It's like saying the blacks, you
Mhm.
know. But Brian, you okay over there?
I am.
Okay.
You doing good.
Don't forget to chime in. You know what I'm saying?
Doing good.
Don't come in late as
Doing
you.
good. We're gonna let Cotton handle the history.
Okay. So let me gonna start with Professor Cotton.
Sure, that works.
You know, I do apologize because I might laugh a little bit because your name.
Yeah,
Cotton.
black man named Cotton.
Right.
From Mississippi.
Right.
Sugar Lock and Past Christianity.
And we picked you to come here. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We picking Cotton. Okay. So.
Master Cotton.
Right. Okay, so since you've been a historian and you've been like a professor of this subject, tell me your basis and your breakdown of Black Wall Street.
Give me
Okay.
the history about itself first.
All right.
He don't like to
So-
talk. He don't like to talk either.
Black Wall Street and Tulsa. All right, come about 1889, there's this major rush for land in the West, particularly that's given away by the states. Oklahoma is still a territory at this point, and they're giving away all this freed land. Now, there's also a whole lot of freed slaves who are either just leaving the South or those who are actually brought along with the Native Americans. So many of them settled in this region. Now, you also have to remember that 1889 up until about 1900 is still during a period which you like to refer to as Reconstruction. So that's part of the time when the South is still full of what's
It would rise
worst people
again.
ever.
It would rise again.
Yeah. It
think-
hadn't even left yet.
Okay.
So the rising, yeah. So what's happening is that black people got involved in politics. They started getting rights. You had the radical Republicans coming in, pushing these progressive elements. And the South tried to fight back. And when the South decided to fight back, they did so by mass murdering people left and right in wholesale slaughter. So you get stuff like, even here, like Clinton. Clinton had a massacre of, I want to say about 50 or 60 people, at least. All murdered, just dragging them out in the middle of the streets, shooting them at political rallies. This became what's known as the Mississippi Plan, where basically the South said that the North's not going to interfere. The government's not going to stop us. We're going to keep these black people out, and we're going to kick out all these progressives. So many black people are trying to leave. Now, Oklahoma's way out there. There's nothing in Oklahoma really at this point, besides the Americans who were literally thrown out there because there's nothing in Oklahoma. So you have these people migrating in these regions, and you have this one guy in particular whose name is, Gurley, O.W. Gurley. And he's actually a presidential appointee who literally leaves this position with the White House to actually go out there to Oklahoma and start establishing stuff. So he starts building businesses and he starts inviting black people. And so you get this black community where all these people have now gathered along near the railroad tracks to build their businesses, engage in trade, everything else. Now, we get to Oklahoma becoming a state. And Oklahoma becomes a state, I want to say, about 1906, all right? They are putting in policies and laws which are still related to Jim Crow, the rest of the stuff. And you still have this rise of racism. So when we get to 1916, we get the advent of Birth of a Nation, the D.W. Griffith film, which glorified the Ku Klux Klan and saw the rise of the second Ku Klux Klan. Yeah, the Ku Klux Klan actually got hunted by the U.S. and was actually outlawed by President Grant in the 1870s and 80s. They were hunting them down and almost turned into a second civil war. So after this movie came out, which is the most popular movie that had ever occurred at this point, the Klan went from like 10,000, 20,000 to well over 5 or 6 million.
Good Jesus.
It became a national thing. It became an international thing because it glorified these Klan members as trying to protect the white race, white women, and this movie is horrible. If you ever watch it, it's massively bad.
Okay.
It's also the first thing ever shown at the White House, and the president at the time, Woodrow Wilson, called it a great success. Yeah. NAACP, the first thing we ever boycotted was this movie. So you have this rise of Second Klan, all right? Now, what ends up happening is that right around Memorial Day, there's this kid named Dick Rowland, who's a shoe shiner. And he works over this building, and what happens is he goes into the building to use the elevator to go to the top floor, where he's allowed to use the bathroom. Now, there's a girl in there, a white girl who's about 17 years old. Reports say that she screamed, and he comes running out of the elevator. So, it's not really a major incident. It's really nothing much at all. The police are called. She tells the police that he just grabbed my arm, and it's often believed that he just fell. Now, this newspaper editor runs this story talking about how her clothes were ripped, how this boy had tried to assault her, and he ran this whole thing.
Yep.
So the next day, the police pick him up, and then they take him to the courthouse. This is after they already said there wasn't really going to be a case. So after that, what happens is about 1,000 white people show up to the courthouse. And about a year ago or so, they'd already lynched several people. White people, black folk, all the rest. So they're there to lynch these people.
So at some point, lynching wasn't just for black people.
Oh no, lynching just historically isn't. Lynching just means mob mentality or mob rule. It's where a mob gets together and then decides on what the justice will be without there being a system or a court. In Oklahoma, up until I want to say about 1906, it's black people are actually a minority in the lynching. Most famous lynching incidents are usually stuff like the Oxbow incident. Anytime a mob gets together and say this is what we're going to do for justice, that's a lynching.
Okay.
It doesn't refer to black people. It becomes synonymous due to what happens in the summer of roughly, well, the 1900s.
1919 in particular, the
Mhm.
Red Summer.
Yep. And after that, it just skyrockets to be synonymous with black folk. Appreciate that, Brian, because I could not remember the year.
Yeah, he
I
did
got
good.
Look at you, historian doing his thing.
I got you.
All right.
Be on time next time.
But back to the story. So what happens is that Oklahoma is a large community in this area of former soldiers who fought in World War One. So many of these grown men, former soldiers, know that this boy is about to get lynched. So they meet together and start talking about how they need to protect this boy. So about 30 of them go out there armed because there's already a militia existing over there. And they all have guns, all the rest of stuff to protect themselves. Again, these are World War I soldiers, which means they've probably been with the 369th or the 15th. Which are, the Bronze Men, that's the Harlem Hellfighters, that's that group, the toughest soldiers in World War I. All right. So they get out there, and what happens is that they talk with the sheriff, who's only got like 10 men, right? There's a crowd of 1,000 people. These white people see these black folk with guns and start getting anxious. So the sheriff sends them back. Their cars pulling up all the rest of this stuff, and so the white people leave because they think the black folk are going to come back with more guns. So they go, and they get more guns. They all go home. Now, hearing this, they start believing that there's going to be like a race riot where the black people are going to start shooting at this crowd. So they go and get more guns, and then they try and break into the armory. Yeah, they try to break into the National Guard armory to get more guns still. National Guard holds them off. So what ends up happening is that now, within about an hour, that crowd doubles to more than 2,000, almost 3,000 people. Sheriff's still trying to hold them back, but he can't. So the black people come back. The militia, they have about 75 guys who all step up there and try and protect this kid. They're trying to make sure this kid isn't just dragged down the middle of the street and murdered. Now, the sheriff tells them to go home, and as they're leaving, a white guy grabs one of the guns. So, gun goes off. There's a shot. Next thing you know, there's 10 dead white men, 2 dead black men. And the rest of these black men are actually retreating. They're trying to go back to Greenwood to try and protect themselves. Now, the white crowd then begins into a mass frenzy. They start breaking into every house, everything, every store along the way, as they're headed directly to Black Wall Street. They're heading right over there to this area back in Greenwood. So they start breaking into the different shops, stealing more guns, and then they get there, and what happens is it turns into almost a 3-day shootout. You have the people who are fighting back, trying to defend themselves in the community, and then you have this white mob that's constantly in there.
See, okay, so are you telling me that white people were breaking into black people things?
They looted the entire district.
Yep.
So Greenwood is composed of a district. Greenwood is a street that's along with Pine Street and.
So basically, like our Ferry Street is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying.
Brian.
At a certain point, we were ahead of the curve because we had all those supplies and stuff like that. And for them to actually do what they did, they had to steal from us. So there's always going to be the cycles that, hey, we're going to steal from them no matter what, and we're going to use whatever their talents is against them.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
And that's still the nice parts of the story.
oh, my goodness. Well, continue on, sir. I didn't mean to stop you. I just had
Oh, you're good. That was a nice point. I like it. It was deep.
No, I thought I liked to see
It was a nice bit of analysis there.
I'll drink to that.
I don't drink with you.
All right.
Salute.
I want to drink with them.
That's your fault.
You want to go get your sippy cup?
And just to clarify,
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
just to clarify, we understand how tough this subject is for a lot of people, and that's probably part of the reason why we're trying to bring a bit of levity.
Yes.
Is because it's still just as tough as us.
Yes,
I
it is.
mean,
And it's always going to be an issue, no matter how we look at it. We can laugh about it, joke about it, but at the end of the day, it's a real topic. Nobody understands it, how the severity of it is, and that it could get worse before it gets better.
here's where it gets worse.
Correct.
Here we go.
So, about the second day, they start setting fire to the area. Now, there are cops. The cops can't get in there. The cops some are actually part of the riot. Others are being held off.
Correct.
They start fires all throughout the area. They start burning buildings. They start burning everything in the area. Now, as they're setting fire to this stuff, the fire department shows up. And they hold the fire department off at gunpoint, tell them that they can't come in this area. Now, the National Guard shows up, but the National Guard doesn't show up to suppress this. The National Guard knows that there's too many white people there who are armed, and they can't open fire on a crowd of 2,000 armed white citizens in 1921. So what they do is they start protecting the white neighborhoods and start detaining black people. Now, they detain and will actually hold up to, I want to say, 6,000 people during this riot, that they just arrest black people. Now, as the fires are going, everything's burning. Here's where we get to the part people are most familiar with. Several private citizens actually go to a nearby airfield, and they take their private planes and they fly their planes overhead, over a dozen planes, and they begin firebombing it. Now, this is not the military, this is not the government. These are people using turpentine bombs. They take balls of turpentine, essentially, light them on fire, then drop them so that they start burning the entire area down. And people are talking, it's one of those major points that people can remember is the flames, about how high they would rise and how severe they really were. So within this 2-3 day period, you end up with 10,000 homeless black people, $1.5 million in real estate damage, $750,000 in property damage, which is $32 million in adjusted. You have, I want to say, upwards of 150 to 300 people dead from this race riot. And it becomes national news.
And the thing is, this what really gets me. How organized those 1,000 people were, and they didn't have Facebook. How the folks just popped up on those like, hey, we getting together and we're going to do some lynching tonight.
Right. I mean, that's actually kind of impressive.
It's very impressive. Because when no tweets in out.
It took them every bit of 3 days to completely destroy an entire district. Now, keep in mind that a lot of the looting and stuff like that was out of pure jealousy. Like they didn't expect black people to have some of the things that they had within this particular district. In addition to that, they believe that, with that whole inferiority complex that, well, if you have this and I'm better than you, then I should have this.
So the same mentality is still going on today.
Right, still going on today. And now this
Crabs in the bucket.
This comes on the heels of Juneteenth. This comes on the heels of Red Summer. So it's not a particular event, but the crazy part is this has been forgotten from history for a lot of years. They completely tried to erase the race riot or massacre, I call it, from history. Because I didn't learn about Black Wall Street until I was in college.
Actually, honestly, true. I just learned about it about a month ago.
Right, and now keep in mind, I'm a historian as well, like Professor Cotton, not on his level, but I'm a historian
You're
as well.
definitely
I
not
did
on his
major in history, but I never learned about it. And when I was in Mississippi College,
Until you went to Jackson State.
Until I went to Jackson State.
Preach.
And I ended up at Mississippi College writing my thesis on it in one of my senior level courses when I was getting my master's. But it's amazing because we have all these time periods of African American history, such as Black Wall Street, such as the Harlem Renaissance, where we had an influx of successful black businesses, doctors, lawyers, musicians, artists, where in most cases these areas was destroyed by people who believed they were superior to us just because of their skin. And that's some of the things that we're trying to bring awareness to in this particular episode of our podcast, that hey, there might be a way that we could recreate these particular areas in out in the world. And most notably areas like Atlanta. Atlanta, I believe, is a very like a mecca of African American cultures and things like that. But that's one of the things that we are trying to discuss. How can we recreate this? Because us being only 13% of this country carries a lot of, doesn't carry enough weight for us to say, well, we're gonna make major changes overnight. But what we can do is we can make changes over time.
I always think that it just starts with us. All we ever need is a start.
That's
the
true.
simple fact, because the thing is, this nation wasn't just built by blacks. It's a good start, but we always had help. We always had people that want to make change and everything, and it starts with that. Just like we only 13%.
Right.
It's like, but we back in the day, Chinese helped build the railroads.
That's true.
Got Mexicans and everything, but a change needs to happen. That's one thing, so we can get back in. It should be Black Wall Street. We live in America where it's supposed to be home and free, and we're still trying to live in a slave mentality, no matter who you are.
That's true.
We can always vote around how black people still live the slave mind, but white people do too.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? We all looking for the biggest massa.
That's
No
true.
matter how you look at it. So, all right. So here's the biggest question. Come from both of y'all. Y'all can answer however you want. Is there a possibility that Black Wall Street can be recreated?
Black Wall Street itself is something that we look at as this kind of lost kind of mecca, like in Atlantis. Now that we see the story, we hear it. The thing is, it's not something that's even particularly unique. We have black affluent areas which have been able to self-fund and self-promote for years. They're self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
But most black communities are in such places where there's not the same opportunities. Now, we can redevelop those less fortunate black communities, the places which have been affected by things like segregation and integration, things that have been affected by Jim Crow, the rest of these, if we can focus on what it was that made these successful. Like the ideas behind what we collectively refer to as Black Wall Street are in what's the word I want to say here? Essentially, it's self-reliance. They buy black, self-sufficiency, thank you. They buy black, everything is owned by black people, all the money stays within the black community.
Right.
It's something which is actually used historically by the Hebrew community.
Yep.
Mhm.
No, just about to say that.
Yeah, the Jewish community's been doing that
They've
for
been doing it for years.
thousands of years. It's how they're able to keep their identity, their history, everything else.
Yeah.
Now, in a global market, it becomes more difficult because there's so many more things and so much more spread out. We're not building the buildings. We're not building the raw materials.
That's true.
So that's money left out there. The other thing is that we don't have open land that we can just go out there and get. So we have to try and refigure and redevelop a new way for this economic prosperity. We have to reinvest back within our own communities and keep funneling that money. So it comes down kind of like a combination of W.E.B. Du Bois's Talented 10 combined with the Tuskegee. Yeah. What you call it from Tuskegee? Booker T. Washington's self-sufficiency plan.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot in my head, so I have to keep thinking about stuff.
You know what? I even when I'm doing my thing, it helps to just do what you do.
But even to that, you got to think about black businesses. How many black businesses do we have that we support? But compare black business now to 60, 70 years ago. 60, 70 years ago, were they renting that property?
That's true.
So how much of that money that they make that is in revenue are they now reinvesting back in paying rent? So that slows us down. They have to worry about like where they bought their materials from. They can't buy them from black stores. They can't buy, lumber from a black company.
True.
The T-shirts that we buy. We have a lot of black folk make T-shirts, right?
Correct.
Okay, they make a designer T-shirts.
Shout out to Bear Dreams.
Thank you. But those T-shirts are still manufactured overseas in China rather than from textiles and all that, which are actually black owned.
True.
So we have to try and work harder in this day and age. Despite the fact that they still had to fight significantly worse racism and pure threats, we have to work harder on the economic end because there's actually less opportunities for us today than there were then.
Right.
I fully agree with that as well. And I also believe that as a community, all right, so back during the early 1900s, mid 1900s, even the late 1900s, we identified that we had a particular, I hate to say it, but enemy. The enemy was racism and segregation and things like that. So we worked extra hard to make sure we spent money into our communities, which we do not do as much as we need to today. People are quick to run out Jackson and go to, just use Jackson for example. They go out Jackson, go to Pearl, Madison, Clinton, things like that. I'm not saying anything wrong with those, but when you don't spend money within your community, there's no other way for your community to continue to grow and develop. Speaking back on the topic of whether we can recreate it, I believe we can, but it takes a series of things that we'll have to do. African Americans are typically on the lower totem pole in most major categories. That includes education, that includes healthcare, that includes security, that includes simple things like running water, infrastructure, things like that. That we are not, that we don't have that someone else, of a lighter hue will have. Like just take Jackson for example. Jackson has boiled water alerts every day. But and you don't think about that, but those type of stuff affect you. That affects your property tax. They affect your ability to get loans. That credit, stuff like that. And we have always been on the short end of those type of.
And Brian, I just want to make one point about that. Think about why it is that the capital city has those problems. We have an infrastructure which hasn't been fixed since before segregation, before desegregation. And that's because the not federal government, but the state government doesn't want to invest back in it.
Well, if you got your councilman talking about calling people hog, what was it? Hoghead what?
I'm not getting in there.
I'm just saying. I think the thing is we concentrate on the wrong things no matter what. He say something, the whole topic, what we were talking about that led into him calling somebody, just get thrown all the way out.
That's true.
Guess got a comment saying the problem with recreating Black Wall Street is blacks are not taught money. So if you're not taught money, how do you go about making it outside of being a laborer?
Oh,
that's a good point.
Miss Marie, that's a great point because we don't do a good job, in my opinion, of educating our youth about credit, about building it, about financing, things like that other people have a head start at. Like for example, my mom taught me, my parents taught me a lot about a lot of things, but they didn't tell me why it's important. They just told me, hey son, save your money. But they didn't tell me why to save your money. Hey son, have good credit. But how do you build your credit? And and a lot of this
you really can never be taught was never taught to them.
Right.
You're always living in a generational curse. Like I really didn't figure out about credit until about 10 years ago. I'm almost 40.
I mean, we really don't have credit.
I asked you that. Stay on your side of that.
If you take a look at how credit works, most of the time if you're going in for a business loan or like a small home loan, you need to have some kind of collateral. We don't own anything to have as collateral.
No.
That's true. These white people have had generations where they bought house after house after house, which now becomes collateral, and they have enough in the bank account of the parents so the parents can give them a loan.
Right.
And in fact, Trainer said the school system is creating laborers, not entrepreneurs. And that's true. Because one of the things is, we're still concentrating on trying to teach people the wrong history. Like, I didn't know about all this stuff. That was never, when we was going to high school, that was something that was taught. We learned about the world wars. We learned about, I don't even think a little bit about Vietnam. We learned about stuff that created the problem. But we never learned anything about we didn't learn about our heritage.
About our heritage.
You know what I'm saying? I remember one time in 5th grade, we talked about slavery. One time. And it was amazing how they taught. They taught us, how they own a slave ship, and they taught us the gruesome things. And then after that, bye.
But
see,
you also
y'all came from big schools though.
What big school?
No.
I'm from Pass Christian. I grew up in Gaston Point and Gulfport. We went through all this, so we learned about these people. We learned, not so much Black Wall Street, but we learned, about James Weldon Johnson. We learned about Du Bois, Garvey. We learned about all these things in elementary school.
Right.
By high school, we were focusing on other stuff, but it was still part of the curriculum.
See, I'm from Jeff Davis.
Ah, okay.
No, right?
Yeah.
My
Jeff
mama-
Davis, not the new one either.
No, my mama was part of segregation when the school segregated. And a lot of people didn't understand to the extent of why they called it J.E. Johnson versus Prentice Elementary, Prentice High School. So my entire school year going to school, my whole school time, it was dominantly black. Like it wasn't, I could count on my hand almost that it was literally, maybe I could say at the most, probably about maybe 50 white people that literally went to my school through the whole entire school. And to come up here and to go and see, like, I went to Hines Community College, so that was a different pace to a certain extent. But at the same time, to know and understand credit and all that,
that's true.
Down from where I'm from, it just, your parents, they was in good standing, so that was your credit.
At this point, this is my biggest thing what we need to do for high school kids. Maybe even younger. We need to teach a course called Common Sense.
Common sense.
They used to be called home economics, baby. Ain't there no more.
Yeah,
But
they
not so much.
budgets.
But the thing is, let's recreate. Let's create home ec and do it as far as like. There's a lot of stuff like I didn't know. When I was in high school, I could say I almost didn't pass high school. Like honest to goodness, I did because there was a lot of stuff I didn't know, and my mama actually thought that I didn't want to. She didn't know I wanted to go to college.
Yeah.
She thought I was just gonna go straight out into from high school to being a laborer. And true enough, I was working at Kroger when I first started there. But I did want to go to college, even though when you start learning about it, college ain't for everybody. And I was one of the people it wasn't for. So I was at a point where I didn't know and didn't know how to ask because guess what? Our counselors really didn't know what to tell us. Hey, he was like, that was probably what their whole mindset was. It says, hey, you're gonna go out, you're gonna go in the workforce. But like, if I had known about the options I would have had as I got older and know about some of the stuff, because my dad at a certain point, all he did was pay for stuff cash.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at and people think back in the day, having a little money, about $30,000 or $40,000 in your pocket, you know what I'm saying, was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, it made you ignorant about credit.
No, not quite. Now, I'm going to tell you. Now, I ain't even supposed to be a part of this.
Yeah.
But see, I'm going to tell you something real quick. Just because you have it doesn't mean it makes you ignorant. If you could pay for something cash, never owe nobody.
Here's the thing.
That's
Regardless.
true.
Here's the thing. Because you got when you have cash, most folks are tempted to spend it.
Right.
Not just not spending on. If I have cash, I would like to have something to show for it. You know what I'm saying? House paid for, this and that, and this and that, and still have money in the bank.
Right.
At a certain point, guess what? In a time when my dad got the money, guess what? Started opening up casinos.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, you at a point where I could try and double up on this money.
Right.
And you mess around, piss it down the drain.
I'll
And
say
at the end
this.
of the day, you won't have nothing.
For the longest time, we weren't really allowed to have credit.
There you
Even doing
go.
stuff like trying to get the loan for a house because of
Mhm.
things like redlining,
Mm-hmm.
we weren't going to get that credit extended to us regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So many black families knew the only way to survive would be to only actually have that cash in hand because nobody's turning down cash. Cash doesn't have a race to it.
Cash was
There you
king.
go.
Cash is king. So for many black families, it's not a thing. Then you get like the corruption in the 1960s and 70s where the black family starts to basically dissolve, particularly when you get to the 80s due to the crack epidemic.
Yep.
So even the people that
drugs.
did know
yes,
didn't know how
yes.
to pass this down.
Right.
So I mean the entire thing turns into this entire huge economic, and I want to say a word I can't use, I'm going to say mess instead of cluster, what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
Where essentially we didn't have credit, couldn't get credit. Now that we can get credit, it's all crap loans,
Right.
which are all predatory.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Right. High interest rates, stuff like that. So you pay
Charge
back a lot
23%
more.
interest on something that
23%
should
people
be
is
3.5
not
or
a
something like that.
good credit amount. If they tell you anything above 3%,
A '94 Honda Accord should not cost you $10,000.
if they say anything above 3%, you need to have better credit. But
Yeah.
Personally, if you're paying over $600 a month and your actual paycheck is less than $3,000, you're spending too much.
I agree. I agree.
Like my car outside is $200 a month.
Right.
I got a 07 Ford Mustang GT that had less than 50,000
I
miles.
see you got a little dent in it.
Yeah, I got hit by a kid.
That
So,
man hit by a kid.
hit by a kid at work.
I do.
She ran into
PPO
us out.
repair.
There you go. He does autopilot.
I-
We got it all.
Alright, I need
in
this.
my little circle, we got it all. We got it all.
You know,
Watch
in the
cars.
black community, we on the mic, so I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk.
Well, we
We'll talk.
advertise for everybody. You know, holler Corey if you got a dent in your side. And not that kind of dent, Corey.
No.
Yeah, but we like I said, and really, even I'm a type of person. Business is business. I don't care if you white, black, Mexican. I'm gonna send you business because that's the way I am. Because the thing is, they didn't stop making dollar bills. There's enough for us to go around, no matter what. I mean, the question that I asked about recreating Black Wall Street is the color has to change. Because the only color anybody respects is green. That's the one thing about it.
You got one other color they respect too.
What the-
They don't want to recognize it, but red, their blood makes a difference, baby.
That blood makes a difference.
Yeah.
You can't-
No
you
matter
can't-
what color it is.
I don't know
You
if
can't
it makes
spend
a
blood
difference.
though.
Right.
Ain't nobody asks for how much for a paint of blood. You know what I'm saying?
See, I worked in the medical field. Let me tell you something. I don't care what color you is. If you need a kidney, if you need a heart, you ain't trying to worry about where it coming from or who got it.
I had the lady that's in my office. She's donating her kidney.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm about to do that one. Only got probably about half one working.
Don't we all? I drink to that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we shouldn't live in a society that sees color. Because at the end of the day, we gotta start believing in just, okay, I support small businesses need to be the biggest thing we support.
I agree.
No matter what.
Small business.
Because these big businesses are not putting back in our communities like they're supposed to. Hey, it wasn't until George Floyd that everybody hit here now, okay, I'm gonna send an email saying Black Lives Matter. That should have been a conversation years ago. But even with Black Lives Matter, we're almost still in ignorance. Because still, the only thing about Black Lives Matter is that it's getting filmed. It's getting filmed. There's still just as many white people killed. There still is many Mexicans, all this. There's just as many killers, even though we're concentrating on that right now. But we shouldn't be put in a position that color is what we concentrate on. Killing is wrong, no matter how long down the book you look. And we got to start putting that barrier of like, okay, this black person, but there was a white person that supported your cause that was killed right along with these folks. And we got to just stop putting that facade of that, hey, because black kill black all the time. And we never say nothing about it. So if we couldn't recreate Black Wall Street because blacks are too busy beating blacks out.
I don't know. I think we could. I think really what it is most of the black community's lost the most important thing to us, and that's hope.
Yep.
Yeah.
We
That's true.
basically a lot of times disenfranchise ourselves. We've taken ourselves out believing that we can make a change. And what we have to do is we have to reinforce and give people stories. We have to give people hope. And once we do, we can probably appeal to the better parts of them.
Mm-hmm.
We can get them to understand that this is not something that's going to hurt you. This is something that's going to help not only you, but everybody else. Biggest problem that we as humans have is that we get so caught up in ourselves that we forget the importance of other people.
That's true.
We forget, what love really is, that there's no reason that you need to be more important than somebody else.
That is true.
So, honestly, we need to spend money in the black community. We need to spend on small businesses. We need to buy property.
Mm-hmm.
We need to basically look out for each other. Like, you get on, you make $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, great. Okay, you can afford to do more than what you're doing. You can put up $200-$300 a month or $100 a month and then donate that to a HBCU or donate it back to your community
That's
and
true.
help fund some kid going to school so he can get in a spot like you.
That is true.
You know?
That's true.
I said we were talking earlier. We were talking about.
You got 5 minutes left.
Okay.
Dang it. Okay, so before we go any farther. So if you're tuning in to Pastor Mike podcast via live, please do not forget to go on all sites, Spotify, Apple. Go and follow us on those. We need to get these views up. If you don't look for 66 of it, we'd be greatly appreciated. We're just trying to get our message out. Like, post, share this live that we're on. Subscribe. We need to get it out there. Like, if you believe this is a good message, y'all share it.
I think we need a part 2.
We might need a part 2 because it was a lot of stuff in there.
Right. And see, the thing, we need a longer. I keep saying it. I apologize. We need longer than 45 minutes to sit here and talk. Me and my business manager are going to create that sooner or later. We might have me changing over podcast services. So, but we're going to try and do that. So, thank you, sis. I appreciate it.
I saw several people sharing it.
Yeah,
so I want to say I appreciate everyone.
That's why I say it got to be a part 2, just because a lot of people
I
don't know and understand what's going on. They just thinking people are marching just to march.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even much about the march and all that kind of stuff. It's more or less if you understand where you have come from to where you're trying to go, you will understand the future that you're trying to create. Mm-hmm. And the thing about it is a lot of people out here running around, they don't understand what's going on.
That is true.
So when they figure out what's going on and actually understand, that will slow the process down to where people actually have some type of mindset to think about what they're trying to do to make their next step. And
That's
see,
true.
the next step turns into the future.
It's,
So-
it's all about creating that future.
Let me plug my kids real quick.
Talk-
I just need to plug my kids. I run Jackson Honda Campus All-Star Challenge. We're the national trivia competition. We compete against the top 120 HBCUs in the nation for a shot to be one of the top 48. We then compete for $50,000, which is actually up to $75,000 now. Anyway, it's an academic competition between all of the HBCUs in the nation. We won 2-3 years ago, came in 3rd place last year. Anyway, this program funds about 5 or 6 other things we do, which are all developed for getting scholarships to kids, providing opportunities. So if you feel like donating and you want to help out in the community and help these kids get this money so they can survive all the rest of this stuff, then you can donate at the JSU website. And you can also write a check. Let me see, just put JSU HCAS in the memo line to make sure they know where it gets to, or JSU Campus All-Stars. Quiz Bowl, any rest of that. They'll know who you're talking about.
I was part of the quiz, but I just want y'all to know that. And Cotton,
He wasn't good.
I'm about to say, Cotton was hating on me.
He's alright.
What we got? What we looking at time right quick?
We got about 4 minutes left.
Okay, cool.
Oh, that was only a minute? Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I am.
You said
serious.
5 minutes. I thought it was like
I
3
was
minutes
serious.
ago.
Serious. All right, that's what I'm talking.
We good.
I was like, throw the Hail Mary.
Maybe right.
we keeping in the loop. That's all.
But I do want to take the opportunity to shout out to all the black businesses that are doing stuff in the community.
Offbeat.
Because that's
Yeah.
important. You're making a difference within your community, and
Yeah,
that's where
right.
it starts. You know.
Eddie, you know Eddie, right?
Oh, I know Eddie.
Oh,
Eddie.
Eddie is.
Eddie.
We are very proud of Eddie.
We
and his food.
we used to say, it takes a village to raise a child. It still does. That has not changed, but we have gotten away from the village.
Because that's why y'all kids is bad.
I agree.
So shout out to the parents that just found out their kids is actually what them folks said they was in school. I'm just letting you know, like when they say little Billy ass is bad, Billy bad.
Billy making teachers quit.
All right, Billy almost burned down the school. I'm just letting you know.
How many Billys do we still know? Ain't nobody naming their kids Billy. in this day
I
and
know
age.
one Billy. I know one Billy.
You know one Billy? I know a Billy.
He's white.
He black,
I know one black Billy.
and he has his own business. And,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah.
Is his name?
My homeboy Billy Crawford, he does concrete and all that now.
Oh,
That's one
right.
black Billy I know.
Well, you know what the
We
bad
need to
boy.
do it more regular
Right, I
names.
got it.
But we gonna sound racist.
Like
Akeem,
when was the last
Jamal.
time- when was the last time you heard of Jimmy?
A Jimmy? I got an aunt Jimmy. It's a nickname. Her real name Arlene.
So how y'all get Jimmy?
I don't know. I wasn't there. That's my auntie. I'm not asking.
Maybe she was a thief. She was trying to Jimmy doors.
No, my dad got a name like that though. His name is Jackie Boy. His real name is Greg.
Man.
Jackie Boy.
Oh, we talked about that.
That's them old names.
We have names that
These is
nowhere
old.
near the
Yeah.
actual name.
Oh my God.
I
We done got way off track.
I have an uncle named Uncle Brother. His name is Andrew. It's Uncle Brother, but his name is Andrew.
I got an Aunt Tiny.
He's not a funkle, is he?
No, he not.
He's not a father uncle.
I got an Aunt Tiny.
Dang.
Uncle Blue, because he was so black he was blue as a baby.
Oh.
And I'm light skinned, so this is super funny.
Wow.
I got Uncle Blue too.
You got Uncle Blue?
Yeah.
Same story?
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Trini, yeah, I was just thinking about Jimmy Anger.
But I love him to death though. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, I do know Jimmy's, but I always got like 2-3 names.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy Dale,
Yeah.
what's another one? Like
Jamie or James.
James.
Your
Got
Charles
the
and
middle
Chuck. Okay. We done got way off track. Okay. So I'm going to tell y'all what I really want to talk about if we're going to do this again. I want to talk about Harlem, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to talk about
That's
Harlem.
another period.
Seneca Falls or the Renaissance?
No, you got
Seneca Village,
No,
not
I'm about to say,
Seneca
no, you got
Falls.
Seneca Village.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Seneca Falls is them cheap cigarettes. Seneca Village, that's it.
Wait a minute.
I don't know if anyone knows about
They be
Seneca
pulling, though.
Village.
They be pulling.
They-
But Seneca Village is where Central Park is now.
Mm-hmm.
And they tore it down to make Central Park, and they moved all the residents out, which were predominantly black.
And that actually happened way back. But there's also another thing. Did you ever see that movie Gangs of New York?
Nah, I
Yeah.
didn't see it.
There's a
It
riot
was-
during the Civil War
Mhm.
about basically them doing conscriptions, them drafting soldiers.
Mhm.
And the riot eventually it turns, even though it's about them drafting soldiers, white boys, it turns and they just start burning black people, killing black people, burning down the houses, all the rest of that stuff. Because there's actually another community that's a little further north. I want to say it's like North Hampstead or something like that. And so they go over there and go after them because supposedly the North is fighting to free the slaves, and now our sons have to die to free slaves, and y'all are black, and so 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, North's kind of messed up if you start looking
Okay,
at
so
it.
we shut down. You shut down the podcast.
It's going out now, man.
Okay, so we shutting down the podcast. So y'all tune in, Pastor Mike. We'll be back.
I forgot one thing.
Well, we're gonna say live on Facebook. We're gonna say in the actual podcast.
We can get a little bit more outrageous.
Yeah.
I ain't fired yet. We only got 9 viewers. That's all right. They ain't gonna get me.
You know, a lot of people don't know that Jackson State was ranked over Harvard in academics, and a lot of people don't know that.
No, I didn't. Did you know Millsaps used to be Jackson State?
Yes.
The oldest buildings on Millsaps campus are actually built by us by hand.
Yeah.
All right, so podcast is over. So we are on Facebook Live when we usually run about maybe 5-10 minutes over. Like any issue subject that we have, we can talk here all night. We'd be here another hour because usually we're here. Oh, excuse you, Corey. We usually hear about another 35-40 minutes talking outside. So if anybody has any questions on Facebook Live, y'all please direct it towards us. And you said you had
I had something very pointy. I was like, oh, this is gonna be one of them, like, oh, just one of them great moments. It's like, and this wraps everything up. You know what it's called? Greenwood? After Greenwood, Mississippi.
It was?
Yeah, it's named after Greenwood,
I
Mississippi.
was hoping that would have.
That's why it was named Greenwood originally.
Greenwood District.
After Greenwood, Mississippi.
Yeah, no idea.
But yeah, like I said, I want to talk about Harlem because I'm a big Luke Cage fan. And you know what I'm saying?
Sweet Christmas.
Right, yeah, exactly. And I love the fact that they bring, when that show was on, and I feel like they cut it before it really grew into something. And he was bringing Harlem, like facts that people didn't know. Like stuff I didn't know about Harlem, with Dapper Dan and all that stuff in the clubs and stuff like that. Then you saw one of my favorite artists that came out of the whole thing is Jadena. Because he was on the show and he was performing Long Live the Chief. Loved it. That's what made me love the song now. And it's just, that was more it needed to be. That show needed to be exploited more for what it was really worth. And it was teaching so much stuff. But man, that's what I want to talk about that time. So I'm gonna let you. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. But one of these weeks, I'm not sure if it's gonna be next week or the week after.
They trying to get me to do.
We're gonna do spirituality.
Oh Lord have mercy. So if y'all hear us talking about spirituality, this is the reason why we're gonna end up doing it. I don't want to do it because the simple fact that
boy, that's just the racism, boy.
Man, it's gonna be.
We're really not supposed to mix God politics, but
I mean, it kind of happens all the time.
Yeah, I mean, we got our amendments for it any day, but they're gonna have to really give me what's the word? I'm gonna have to get into it. And if y'all see my business manager, she's on there. She keeps saying yes. She's trying to get me cussed out. Because the minute I start talking about something serious, nobody likes me at a certain point. I literally get disowned by everybody. When the President Biden messed around with Jackson State, and I was real. Oh,
what's bad was he was a decent dude too.
You would have thought I had cussed Jesus out to his face.
Man, you know that man gave us all our money. Usually you get a grant or you win something like that, Jackson State takes something off the top. That man that said, no, this is for you and them kids, he cut them kids a check to their name, to their pockets, straight. All right? As a,
Incentive?
Not incentive. No taxes out. It was straight up. It was a honorarium. So they got their money over the summer. We got to keep the rest of the money, and that's what we're funding the program off of. Wow. Like, he was actually for the kids.
Man, that's what's
up. I want to talk about the situation. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's like, no, don't talk about thee, I love. No. I'm talking about the situation. The thing is, here's what I always believe. if it doesn't get talked about, it gets swept up under the rug. Nothing that's ever talked about gets fixed. And it happened. Face the fact that it happened. Go on by your business. And that's that. We can talk about, I can talk and joke about anything. True or believe that.
Oh,
I got jokes.
Oh, I can't. I'm still wearing my JSU pin right now.
Right.
Don't get me fired.
I got jokes. I can go deep.
Well, you know, I'm gonna tell you just like this right here. At the end of the day, a man is a man, a woman is a woman. No matter what the situation is, no matter what the case may be,
I don't know.
it just is what it is. I mean, I put it to you like this right
You know
here.
Bruce Jenner, don't you?
Right.
See, you trying to get other people fired too.
Right.
Not get none of that.
Right. The thing about a lot of things that I say and a lot of things that I see, hear about, regardless of the situation, I mean, yeah, he's the president of that state or was or whatever the case may be. Man, you got pastors and people that done did worse situations.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I mean, what he did.
That's also true.
I mean, there's nothing. I mean, you only human. No matter who, what. Everybody got a camera now. The crackheads got a camera. So I mean, who gonna find it?
You've been gone too long. Let him know you've been
So-
gone too long.
It is what it is.
I'm gonna say this though. One, they said it was on the dark web where they set this thing up.
Right.
Two, I've seen that man have trouble trying to open an email.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying,
It
it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me
It ain't
about this
all
whole thing. Plus, have you seen his wife? Even though that's not really an excuse.
Right.
But
I gotta go
at the
back.
same time, there's a whole lot there that's just kind of mysterious and weird.
Right.
Particularly after he did just upset IHL. And I'm not going to get IHL.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Now that I think about it, where did he get caught at? Who did he get caught by?
Clinton.
Clinton. Okay.
In
In
Clinton.
Clinton.
I'm not going to get on this because I had some friends involved in this. And
Okay, well, we're going to shut the podcast down. Just for tonight. Yeah,
I'm
I'm
just
going to have a
saying.
good night now.
yeah, that one.
But the thing is, I learned that with my podcast, you gonna please some, some gonna hate you. And the thing is, it's not even about you just can please the people that you can.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing you can touch, whoever you can touch, and them have a look here, woman, don't hush me. I drink to that though.
But that's life.
That's
So-
life. I mean, some people gonna hate you, some people gonna love you. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, guess what? Both of them still watch and see what you're gonna do. That's like Trump. Nobody ever think about this stuff. Some people hate him, some people love him. But damn, this stuff come out of his mouth.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah.
I always keep like one kind of central belief.
Right.
Always, one, be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Two, don't hate anybody that doesn't deserve to hate.
There you go.
And if they do deserve to hate, give them all of what they get.
Oh yes.
Now, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to walk out
It
there
was a 3, but it's okay.
Now, a lot
It
of
was
people...
like
Curry with the
2.2.
Alright. A lot of people don't like Donald Trump, but the man been honest about everything he done said from
No,
day
he
one.
ain't. That
No,
man
no.
done changed every story he done had.
Hold on. What I'm saying is, Donald Trump said a long time ago, he didn't want to be a president. He's a businessman. Now, I'm not a Trump supporter by a long shot,
Yes, he is.
but at the same time, at the end of the day, if you read between the lines of the things he say, before they make him go back and re-say what he's supposed to say,
He says, I hate black people
thank you.
and Mexicans
Right,
and
Okay.
women.
right.
One
That
thing
are-
is, you can't be mad at a person that lives their truth.
But he was honest about it though.
Is
Okay.
it?
No, you can be mad at it.
No.
I can be mad at it.
How can
The
I
man
accuse?
putting babies in cages.
I can't accuse you enough if you living your life out loud.
I know.
Yes, I can.
Okay,
If
yeah.
you still doing something wrong, you get accused of doing something wrong.
If a guy walking on my block with
What he gonna care?
Well, KKK hood
He
on,
doesn't
I
do
get
who
right
eats
to be
people,
mad
but-
about it. Just because he's living his truth don't mean I can't
But
be
at
mad
least
about
Man,
it.
you ain't gonna like it, but you gotta
Hold
accept
on.
it.
If a man out here and he's over there eating babies, just chopping up babies just on the porch, and everybody's like, oh, well, he living out loud about it, we should still stop that man from
Right.
eating babies. There's certain things
Mad
that we need to
about
stop.
That's true.
Now that's true.
That
We
is
can
true.
stop.
He's still wrong.
But at
Right.
the same time, he told the truth.
Yeah, he did. But his
Well, at least you told the truth. You could have stopped him then and
Just
just
because
because
it's not
I
like
baby.
doesn't mean.
It's not like, oh, I told the truth and you get off. No, it's like,
No.
yes, they
No,
deserve
I-
to die and I hope they burn in hell. No,
But-
you still
Yes.
you still
Yes,
go to jail.
Yes, mother.
That cup runs over. But you know, one thing about it, it's just like I tell people with life. You know, give me my own choice and let me do what I want to do with it.
People go
Versus
accept
you
it
trying to
or
make
no.
me choose something, or trying to make me do something that I don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? If
Everybody.
you give me that choice, like you said, that man sitting over there eating back. I got a choice to either go over there and do something about it. I got a choice to walk away from it. But over half of these folks that run around here and in different places, they always try to hide the fact of what they do.
Yeah, because somebody's supposed to be stopping them.
There you go.
Like, if you walk away and you see that man eating babies, you're now complicit in allowing that man to continue eating babies. Because you should have
I don't
called
know, you know-
somebody. You should have stopped something.
The simple fact, but the simple fact, you know what? I know this is probably out of context, but shoot, y'all know the pink building. Y'all know the pink building.
I mean,
Corey, I know you're
I am a supporter, yes.
No, I don't know
I
that.
support the pink building. Yes.
I mean, I support the pink building too.
You know why I support that?
They're not eating babies.
They're not
You know
eating
that, right?
babies.
Yeah.
They're not eating babies, but
But it gives a
I don't
woman,
know.
it gives them a choice.
yeah.
Right, that's what I support.
Yeah,
I
I'm
support-
pro-choice.
I
I'm
support
pro-choice.
women having a choice.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
about
But
the
I'm gonna tell you
abortion,
something.
it's about
I'm
the
like Dave Chappelle. But if I don't want to raise it, mother- I shouldn't have to.
See, again,
I mean, you
I'm
don't
not
got
going
to.
too far with this one.
You don't got to, but child support gonna make you raise it. So
If you do not, I'm Dave Chappelle did say it best, and I look at this stuff, and the stuff is real. If it's a woman's choice to have a baby,
it's over.
and the man doesn't want to have anything to do with him, it's on the mother for keeping him.
Well, he should be able to.
He should control.
If we want to be completely honest with this, he should be able to give up parental rights in exchange for waiving.
Let me walk to
child
this door
support.
real quick.
But I'm not about to
That's
get
a
in
good
on this
point.
because
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I support women, and I'm not about to get my ass cursed out of here.
Look, you see that?
I'm pro women now. All right.
Now I'm
I
gonna tell
just want
y'all.
that to be recognized.
I tell y'all
You know
that.
you love your wife.
I
Thank
tell
you
y'all
very
that the
much.
camera
He
club.
He
How
love you.
Whitfield got started.
I'm just saying. I'm like, if
He
you don't
knew
want to
what I
raise,
said.
if you don't want to raise them,
Yeah.
if you don't want to raise them, you should have you should go to court. Do you want to raise your child? I'm like, shoot, the mother's all messed up. She was screaming banana cream pie, but hey, it is what it is.
Well, you know, it don't always work out that way.
It don't. But the thing is, it was fun while you shoot. But
I ain't even gonna
Shooting
get
from
into that.
deep.
listen, baby, that should have been some of the babies that she should have been eating.
Y'all done just got me.
But
I'm back to a damn adjunct now. Y'all say 2-3 more things are gonna put me back as a TA,
okay, well, shoot.
and I had my degree for 15 years.
How much before you get fired? You be on the podcast for good.
Can y'all afford to pay on this podcast?
We working on it.
If you can work on it, I'll be here. I'll be here
Brianna,
for free. It's
do you
fine.
understand this man? We've been making lose his job. Like for real. Let's see, did I get
Oh, Professor Cotton, we had someone to ask a question for
Sure.
you. They wanted you to discuss. Bring up. I don't know if you know anything about it, but they wanted you to talk about.
How long have you been ignoring this person's question?
Yeah, look.
the whole
Oh.
podcast?
Most of the podcast. I have forgotten.
Sucks.
I gotta find the
You
question.
all make it touch his screen. I can touch mine. It just ain't gonna
It
be.
just ain't gonna do nothing. I think it was one of them cities in Mississippi.
And I'm gonna address. We were just my business manager just inbox
Like
us talking about.
forest or
We were
what
talking.
about? I'm sorry.
I got
we were talking
I'm
about you.
I'm about to try.
No matter who we have on the show, we always get good people on here that we have good chemistry with. That's
Oh, thank you.
always. So welcome. Well, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna tell you since you got the pen in your hand, and I've been getting people to sign the board. I've been meaning to get everybody to start
Should I put
signing.
his lordship, Pastor Cotton?
I mean, Master Cotton.
Master Cotton, we'll go there.
Master Cotton. There we go. She said, "Please don't lose your job." We try to get him. We gonna make
That's all right,
him.
don't pay much anyway.
If you still watching, can you give your
You done lost a whole. Who
I did.
Who was the question by?
I did. It was by Jerry Jenkins. It was about another city.
That must be some of yours.
It's about like Mount Bayou, or it's about like Forest.
Mount Bayou.
Mount
That's
Bayou
it.
was established by black people.
All right.
As far as we talk about stuff like Black Wall Street, Mount Bayou essentially had the same thing. It's self-sufficient black community. It's been there forever.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. There are other places too. Like there's actually a whole lot of stuff about black businesses, black communities that are way old. Like I'm from Pasture Shan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Biloxi's founded in 1699. Pasture Shan's been since about 1750, 1760. There have been black communities there ever since, both free and not. At one point, the entirety of the city was owned by a black man, whose name was I can't remember his name. Anyway, the lady who had originally owned most of the land, she died off, and then she basically willed the land to this black guy,
Wow.
who may or may not have been a son, or might not have been a lover. Anyway, what happens is that the Spanish colonel comes in and says no, and basically says does not accept any of this, and so he basically rewrites the deed, and then steals all the land except for about 5% of it, which he allows the man to keep. And then he sells it all off to all these white folk. But this entire city, which was actually the second yacht club in America was ever founded in Pasture Shan, again, almost 300 years old, was completely owned by black people at one point.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember the little star they used to play when like Bill Cosby said something real smart? Okay.
The more you know.
That's how we have the more you know. Like I've learned so much.
Well, I tell them
I feel
all
like
the
I'm a
time
changed
that
person.
Mississippi has so much history
Oh yeah.
within itself that you know a lot of people don't understand that Mississippi was literally almost like a Black Wall Street for a while.
Parts of it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you don't know who Jefferson Davis is, look it up, read about it. He has a memorial on the coast, on the Gulf Coast, right? And I mean, if you go down the beach line and look on 90, it's a whole big old mansion with the white gate around it. Well, it depends on. It's across from the water.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see the whole thing. Said Jeff Davis. It's like a big old, like a big mansion and all that over there. And a lot of people don't know, Jeff Davis County used to be the richest county in the whole state of Mississippi because of the oil. Hazelhurst was another county. Simpson County was another county. This was all oil, part farmland / oil, and all of this stuff that people don't even know about.
Yeah.
But they, like George said, they swept it on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, to the fact that a lot of people, and what pisses me off so bad is that a lot of people end up, the children inherit this land, and they turn around and sell it.
Man, I wish I had me some land.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I got some, and I just don't know.
I own some land. I own land in
Oh.
Memphis. I mean, in Simpson County, I got land.
I just don't. Sometimes I look at.
I'm broke. I know
Going
every
through this
house.
little situation. I got like maybe 8 acres of land that if everything goes right, I inherit.
I'll trade you
Oh my goodness.
for a Pop-Tart.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something that's funny. You know, one of my favorite things to watch is F's Family. You ever seen it?
Is what?
F's Family.
I haven't seen that one.
Okay, you gotta. This season is crazy. So there's a guy that runs for alderman. Dude is a black guy. The show is really just racist as hell. And the dude's name is Chauncey for one. Rosie, that's his name. Black guy starts at the airport and he works his way up to get an alderman. Finds out they wasn't what he's supposed to be.
Brian, go get my good whiskey.
Say less. I got you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give me a couple of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you are. There's a red cup right there. Get the solos.
Say less.
Be classy about your stuff.
I'm
But you
not.
gotta watch it. Watch F's
I'm
Family.
gonna check it out.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Now, what's crazy is, just speaking about where I come again, Pastor Shan, we have probably the #1 predominant black female author in the world right now. Jesmyn Warren, she's got 2 National Book Awards from Mississippi, out there from DeLille. All the books are about black folk.
I am trying to set up traveling podcasts. I'm waiting on 2 things to things be for reminding me at the end. 2 things I'm trying to do is set up what we can do, get out of town, and I would love to actually get down there and Find some of these folks.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean, you can get at it on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
She's not bougie.
okay, I'm glad to know that because I'm trying to plan a New Orleans trip because I got a couple of people I know down there.
I love that place.
Oh yes.
See, we from 45 minutes away. I spent almost every weekend in high school over there on Bourbon Street.
Now I'm just letting you know we still on Facebook Live. This man looks like he look like an alcoholic right now because you see he put it right there in front of his camera.
I'm not an alcoholic. They go to meetings.
He.
I'm a lush. There's a difference.
That's what top
Okay.
shelf.
The man know how to drink. I can't. I'm not for this.
Yeah, right. That's
I'm
it.
not.
Yeah.
I'm not
Get
made
that
up.
far into my. Ooh. Okay.
Right.
Sorry, I'm being nice. I'm gonna let y'all have some.
We partake. Trust me. I gotta buy more alcohol next time.
I know, because your chips suck.
It didn't keep him.
Bougie.
It didn't keep his mouth off my
Bruh,
wife's chip.
how you gonna talk about his chips when your shoes look like that?
I'm just saying.
Those shoes look like 2 melted Snicker bars.
All right.
Is that what we doing?
Look like you been. It look like you. It look like it, slick. You look like you've been playing kickball with rocks.
Like
I'm
you-
just saying.
Is that what we doing?
It look like
Did you
work-
leave church like that?
I haven't been to church in 3 years.
It look
Exactly.
Like
And
you
it shows
wearing
on your
2
feet.
Syrian Twix
I think
on your
those-
feet.
I think it might be one.
Those are the same shoes Jesus wore. I'm just saying. Is there a nail through them? I'm just saying.
I think they
You got them Flintstones Deluxe.
All right.
I think they ready to go home. Like,
Yeah,
You
you
can't
know your
slap-
shoes are ready to retire.
You can't slide nobody DMs with them shoes.
I feel like my shoes pretty good.
Yes, he can. They ain't got no grip in the
Slip and slide right.
I'm telling y'all, Brian got these shoes on that look like they got motor oil on the bottom. I'm just saying.
I feel like my shoes pretty comfortable.
You know what they?
Brian's shoes look like slave feet.
People,
All right.
people lie every day now. All right?
I'm just saying.
I don't want y'all to get away.
I know
from
we
the
got
fact.
way off to we
People
ain't even
lie
on
every day.
podcast time no more. We just on like roasting Brian shoes. And
Honestly, that would be a better podcast.
All right,
That's what you think of.
listen,
Roasting Brian's shoes.
Look, this is the thing. Cause I feel underdressed because he came here. I just got my new Ali shirt. This is my father. I had to buy my own Father's Day stuff this year.
No.
So right.
Oh wait,
Cause my
did
kids.
y'all see my Black Father shirt? Oh man, I got some.
You ain't got no kids.
You don't know that?
You don't know that. I want to say something. I want to say something. If you do, they're on the towel. That's the only kids you have, and because I know
who
you're
needs
married.
parents, but
You're married.
we need to take this podcast now.
It ain't podcast no more, asshole. I'm just saying. It's podcast. I'm getting free requests from somebody. Gotta be up your stuff. Risky RBB.
That's not.
It's some of your people.
That's definitely not me.
This is not
But I
podcast.
did tag in a few groups. I might be
Okay.
one of the groups.
We gonna have Karen on here one day.
No, we not.
We gonna have. She already. Well, we already got.
Auntie,
Karen.
I can't put you on here, Auntie. If we do put you on here, I can't be a part of that episode.
Okay. Exactly.
I'm a grown ass man.
All right.
I'm married. I can't be a part
Talk
of that
you.
episode.
Well, we.
But my wife might participate though. She a little bit more interest.
Now that I don't know if I can approve of. I can't approve your wife being on here because I feel like she would beat both our ass.
Probably so. That's why I'm not gonna participate. But I'll let you.
I think that's a private. We've been trying to. My Karen Kern, shout out to her. She is
She's an entrepreneur.
she's an entrepreneur
There you
of
go.
all sexual pleasures, but now
Right.
she's not a whore. But she
Did she say a purveyor? Because that would then be a
she's a
pimp.
connoisseur of pleasurable toys,
Okay.
passionate playtimes.
Shout out.
Shout out,
Wait,
big
time.
shout out, big shout out. But we were talking one night, we were on a live, and we were talking about having basically a grown folks podcast. When I say grown folks, it's gonna be all things grown.
Emily asked about that female author that you.
Jasmine Ward.
Did you get that, Emily?
Salvage, what was it? Salvage the Bones, Men We Reap. She was on Obama's list. She's the first woman ever to win 2 National Book Awards.
Okay.
She's from Pasquishan, more particularly DeLille. She's actually just from around the corner from me.
I'm calling it past Christian. I don't care what.
Yeah, I know.
Nah,
you keep saying that.
No, see, the
I'm
thing
gonna
is,
get
that's
your
just.
past Christian ass beat.
What?
Alright, see, because you
I'm
know
probably
what you're gonna
Christian.
get, you gonna get whooped with your own shoes, so you already know how they feel. So
Bro, you know we'll do a drive-by on the go-kart, right?
I've done it. It's funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun with water guns, but
Well, we got, never mind.
right.
I'm talking about to live like that.
I'm
Federal
trying.
cases.
I'm trying to put out.
If you have real laptop, Chris, instead of this Chromebook,
I-
you know, it won't malfunction. Get a real laptop.
Ooh.
Brian, you know what? There's a laptop over there. I let him do that other stuff.
Man, these folks with these Chromebooks gonna.
I wasn't trying. I needed a laptop to finish some stuff for school.
Hey, folks, the
Emily said-
platforms
Emily said,
include
let it-
Apple, Spotify,
Emily said, let's see them damn
iHeart,
shoes.
YouTube. Man,
I want to show y'all the shoes, but I'm scared if he pull them off, the feet gonna be on them too. He go. We
gotta think about the whole foot.
We got to treat him like Coach Kente after that. Then we got to have an old little podcast.
We on
behind that one.
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and
Apple.
I am
Look,
working
we're on
on
Apple, Spotify, iHeart, anywhere you can view or listen to a podcast. We're on. I use Apple a lot because I got an iPhone. Sucks to be me right now,
It does.
but that's what I. Don't you have an iPhone?
Maybe.
I'm
Depends
just
on
saying.
who's asking.
Okay, obviously we don't care. So you got an iCloud account, don't you?
I do.
It's okay then. Put the shit to the up. That's what you need to do. But you know what I'm saying. Look. Y'all go listen. Like we love to do this stuff on Facebook Live because it allows us to open up a little bit more, and you know we end up talking about Brian's shoes. And,
Yeah, well, I had just 700 views on mine episode last week. So that was pretty good.
yeah,
was your wife.
I got up to
Over and over and over again.
Now a lot of people
Well,
go
we know
back.
what she likes now.
A lot of people go back. A lot of people go back.
You weren't right the first time. You gotta go back.
Oh, so now you want to start the song.
Nice.
So, okay, cool.
That's how your goods in your pants.
You know, my Quizbo video got 1.7 million views.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. I look like trash in it, but hey.
He run out.
Man, you should see the way they talked about us. Ooh.
I don't care. I would shoot 1.7. Y'all talk about me. Oh, we're watching you do what you do. I don't care. I'm living for the day we get at least. Go for next week. 2K.
It's okay.
2K. We gotta do some promoting.
That's not far fetched.
That's not far fetched.
Yeah, yeah,
2K. I think it's very, 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 very doable.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do some promoting, and we're gonna talk about religion. Spirituality.
Oh no, I'm not talking about spirituality. I'm gonna
Whoa!
My mama gonna.
Y'all see how people set you up though? We gonna talk about spirituality. Oh, but nah, I'm not gonna be there.
I'm free. I can talk about that.
Hey, we sure will need you.
Again, remember the other part was philosophy, plus the whole being a preacher thing.
That's also true.
Also, like probably a
Professor
state
Connie
expert
is
in
a
theology,
pastor,
etc.
and I don't know what congregation he'll line to.
Me, the good Lord.
Professor Cotton is not a pastor. Like,
Man, please, Jesus drank wine. Put that. If he was here, he'd have this too.
Have you met Tony Arbor? You know.
First off,
Okay.
let me not get started on Tony Arbor.
Okay. Tony is.
That man had a tendency for them.
Okay, I'm just saying. We gotta go there. That's my boy. That's my boy. He taught me. I learned karate from him and a lot more stuff. Maybe that's why I'm getting forward.
Probably so.
But in the long term thing, like I said, we can have this podcast to try and have a little fun, spread a little message. So if y'all want to hear more, and the podcast is actually fire. Like honest to goodness, it's fire. And next week we're shooting for 2K views. So next week we want everybody to come back because I see to get up to about 15 views on mine. I think Brian has a little bit more. Maybe his friends are actually active.
I'm more popular than you. They like me. You need to put me in the middle.
Maybe I need.
Ain't nobody gonna see you. You small. You gonna blend in with the chair.
Like, look, hey y'all, this is gonna be Brian.
Boy.
we kid, but we like to have fun in the podcast. But look, I'm just telling you, want to be in the middle? You know what I'm saying? You can pay for one of these on his phone. I think I got about, I'm up to about a G in equipment right by now. And I'm still trying to get a Procaster. So he don't have to use that thing right there.
Yeah, you did all those things.
Yeah, but until you put that money, you don't get that.
I'm surprised that we still on the air.
We are.
Yeah, we are.
I'm surprised we got kicked off.
we are still on.
That should have been reported us.
Oh shoot! Okay, so Karen just I got invited to a event called the.
In fact, bring Karen on. Don't worry.
Okay, she not.
The
Battle of Sex. She's a Jackson State graduate too.
I see with the 2 E's.
Mm-hmm. She's that's the one I almost got cussed out about too, about the whole situation. But she still loves me. That's online. So when is this? Like Friday night, 7 o'clock. Be on that too. But yeah, we finna get off this live. Cause we've probably sent people halfway to hell, and I don't want to do this anymore for the night. So we are closing out on this live. So
one last thing though.
Go ahead.
Real talk. If you really want to think about something that really is gonna mess with your mind, Martin Luther King died without ever having a hot wing.
He did.
Yeah, they were created. Hot wings were created about 2 years before that man died in upstate New York. He had never once in his life had a hot wing.
wait a minute.
Not no wet.
Let's go
not
back.
no lemon pepper dry.
I
Never once in his life did that man have a hot wing.
Wait a minute. Okay. Okay. I was finna end it.
You know what? I'm
now
gonna
we
get
finna-
some hot wings tonight in his honor.
It is
Jesus never got to taste a taco.
I could have went.
Does that not mess with you? Like Jesus, as great as he is, never got to have a taco. That's simple luxury.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut and we talk about spirituality.
I'm gonna have these mics tweaking, but
I gotta go get the fourth mic. I'm going to get the fourth mic. Okay. He said that damn that's messed up. Like that is low key just.
Yeah, it just blows your mind. Like, wait, Martin Luther King never got to.
I'm moving this mic. I'm trying my best because I'm.
He ain't get to see a man
The
land on
fa-
the moon. He ain't having no hot wings. That man sacrificed everything.
Stop checking them hoes,
Aisha
Jeff.
says he's omnipotent. He knows how it tastes. Does he? Does he really?
The taco though. What taco we talking about? You know what I'm saying? Is it a taco that takes money?
Is it even kosher?
Probably
Could
not.
Jesus eat a taco?
Who knows?
There's beef and cheese on there. And sour cream if he gets a deluxe. He can't eat that. He's Jewish.
All those things are true.
You know what? I'm getting off this live.
We took out the cheese
In
and
these
cream.
goddamn lives, I can't do it.
If he took out the cheese and the cream, he'd be all right.
I was told not to cuss. I'm sorry. I can't hold it in. I am intelligent, but I have to be who I am. I don't know what to say about you, but you can come back. You come back.
Spirituality is what we're pushing for.
Can you
Next
imagine we
week.
had enough mic to have him, Eddie, Tony,
Oh, Lord.
TL, all up here in one room?
And I think that's going to be a
That would be
controversial
it would be.
I'm getting a big board.
So save all your energy, your questions, your comments.
Send donations. How about that? Pass the mic 601. How about that?
You made a.
I changed my cash app. I actually got to do a second one though.
You need to make a PayPal for Pastor Mike. You terrible.
What?
He's terrible.
My social media manager sucks, y'all. I'm just letting you know he's late. He's. What was your wife's word? Incompetent.
Damn.
No, she said.
That's brutal.
She said Jesus
trying to break
is
souls.
omnipotent.
I mean,
No, I was say incompetent.
You was talking about Jesus? You trying to say Jesus is incompetent?
I'm just saying. Hello, we look the.
Yeah, no, I'm not getting struck by lightning.
I mean, shoot. At this point, like, hey,
It's
I'm,
like,
I already got struck by lightning. Thanks, like Jesus. See, that will.
The sound effects.
This is the worst sound effects, and we got 3 good sound effects, and the rest are trash. The gunshot is horrible. The laughs is okay, but the rest is just all straight
no, the
trash.
clap is good.
The clap.
See? That applause something.
What you doing your own personal time?
I'm about to say, bro, you need to ask your wife if that's, you know.
What kind of clap? Hey Alexa,
Nah,
turn on you got the lights.
not today. Not today.
Oh,
Y'all
Brian.
got the clapper in your
Not
house?
today.
You just be setting yourself up, buddy.
Not today.
Hey,
Not today,
you
devil.
you got a clapper at your house? You think you broke your ass?
Not today. Hell no.
had to put the name on their cake.
Let me get out. We figure out be like
Y'all
any
checking out?
lies, because like before we really get outrageous in here.
Tell everybody.
She said, "Dang, I'm not that bad." Your wife said she's not that bad. She's not that bad, but she's bad.
And somebody come back and what's something that lets me have a neck. I have one. It's just it's the angle.
Any last words?
The jacket's kind
Before
of.
we end these lives?
Any last words?
Any last word?
Any last words?
Any last words?
Uh-huh.
Let's see here. No, I don't have any.
All right.
I got,
Jesus was a Jew.
All right. Good. Chris, you?
I'm ready to
Did
go.
you like the hand movements?
You good, Corey?
I'm good.
No, it do not flip me off. I am not. You not that bad.
Oh wait. Brian's shoes is whack.
Okay. Oh, most definitely. Hey, Isha, throw these
lying.
shoes away.
Oh my
They
God.
are trash. Hey, I'm mad with you.
Yeah.
You still going to massage envy?
Yeah, it's time for me to hit this in, but I got you. I see what y'all trying to do here.
We talk about them ragged ass shoes you got on your feet.
You call it what
That
you
man
want.
feet is lepers.
All right, look like Barney Rubble feet.
I'm trying.
Can't